So the way we've been telling this law of attraction story lately is it's as if you walk into this segment and you've got a bag of marbles, and this bag of marbles contains all your active vibrations, which are the only ones that matter. If they're inactive, they're not a player in your point of attraction. Point of attraction, that's a key phrase we want you to think about, because that's all that matters. Your point of attraction, your point of attraction. Nobody's doing anything to anybody, but you all have a point of attraction. And often when it feels to you that somebody else is doing something to you, it's because they have convinced you, or you have witnessed, and you've come up with a screwy idea about something, so your point of attraction is going that way. It'll make sense to you as we sort this out together. So you walk in with this bag of marbles. Now, how did this bag of marbles become your bag of marbles? Well, everything that you lived sort of contributed to it. When you were little, things your mother said caused you to put some marbles in your bag. If your mother said, "We don't have enough money," and she said it often enough, you began to feel like you don't have enough money. And you began to collect quite a few marbles about that. If she said things cost too much and we don't have enough money and it's hard to get money, then your bag of marbles became more and more about that, scarcity, about money is hard to get. If your mother was irritated with people who had money, then you got some marbles about that. So you came away with a bag of marbles just from a little bit of time with your mother, that we don't have enough money, money's hard to get, some people have money, they're not nice, we don't like the people that have money, but we want money. And so you can see how this combination of marbles can become sort of complicated. Now, all the marbles in your bag aren't activated at all times. But the marbles that are activated are the ones that are causing the point of attraction that you've got going at any point in time. This is the part we really, really want you to hear. You gathered up your marbles, not really knowing you were doing it, just by seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching. And the thing about these beliefs that you keep thinking, that's what those active vibrations are. The thing about them is they feel really real to you. They are. And they feel accurate to you. They are. Because you believe them, and because you believe them, a belief is just a thought you continue to think. You activate them often, and the law of attraction matches how you feel. So you keep proving to yourself that there's not enough money. You keep proving to yourself that money's hard to get. And you talk to each other about it and convince each other about it. And so you've got this belief that doesn't serve you. Now, there's a lot of other beliefs. There's beliefs like relationships are hard, or like men aren't nice, or like women aren't nice, or like you need to be tough, or you should be self-reliant. In other words, there's all kinds of reasons that all kinds of people have told you all kinds of things. And there are all kinds of reasons that you believe them. But here's the good news, because this all sounds bleak. It has to sound bleak. I've got this bag of marbles, and I don't know how I got it, and it's controlling my life. How'd that bag of marbles get there? Well, one experience at a time, because words don't teach. It's only life experience that teaches, yes? So here's what we really want you to understand. You came as an extension of source energy. And that non-physical part of you, we call that your inner being. Your inner being has a bag of marbles. It's all about you. And that bag of marbles says brilliant, eager, willing, capable, seeking, deserving, worthy. That's your inner being's story, and that's the story your inner being's sticking to about you. Capable, worthy, eager, excited. So when you, here in this physical body, think a thought, doesn't matter where it came from. Maybe your mother said it to you, maybe you saw it on television, doesn't matter. Maybe you observed it, made it up yourself. Not likely that's how it came. When you think a thought about anything, about yourself or about anything, anyone or anything, at the same moment that you're having that conversation, your inner being is too. But your inner being is never ever pushing against anything.
you have control over which of your dominant marbles become active. And by dominant, we mean they're in there a lot. Maybe you were picked on as a child, and so you put a lot of those victim kind of marbles in your bag. Well, it may have been years since you felt like a victim, and so those victim marbles, even though there are a lot of them, and since there are a lot of them, we would call them dominant because maybe they were a big part of your childhood. But if you didn't keep renewing them, if you didn't keep the trouble stirred up in your own mind, if you didn't keep making them, if you didn't continue to reactivate them, then you haven't been recently attracting because of them. So when you enter a segment and something that's active in your point of attraction is active, then if someone else who's in the vicinity has an active marble about the same thing, you're going to have an experience, a cooperative experience, because the law of attraction says it must be that way. So we like that you have some black marbles, meaning making a differentiation between the thoughts that you intend to think and the thoughts that you maybe have thought but don't want to think anymore. You've got a mixed bag. Everyone's got a mixed bag of marbles. Start again. If you accept that you have a bag of marbles, and rather than trying too hard to calibrate or coordinate your bag of marbles with everybody else's, if you are instead calibrating your physical human bag of marbles with that of your inner being, that is really utilizing your guidance system effectively.
Marbles. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like the game of marbles, it's a game.
Yeah?
And
Yes, it is.
I came here wanting a new process.
Yes?
And I can feel how much fun this is going to be.
Yeah.
To be able to take a negative emotion, which we have many processes from you already.
To be able to feel the guidance of a negative emotion and understand what it means in terms of marbles,
Yes.
which are thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then to deliberately focus the thoughts in order to change the feeling. Period.
Yes. Like I'm buzzing from this.
Why is changing the feeling a good idea? Because I get what I feel. If I feel like a victim, you could not have ever felt like a victim. You could go to a really long movie that was really good at making you feel like a victim. And you could watch it in a sort of uninterrupted format for, a few hours. And you could leave feeling like a victim, and somebody who had never beat anybody up could beat you up if you've got that vibe going. Now, that's an exaggerated statement because usually you're not that fickle, but it could happen that way.
And it's the same way with anything else in life. We
Everything.
pay attention to everything that's going on in the world, and we can become a victim just by paying attention to it, just like a movie.
Well,
Or choose our feeling, our disc, how we feel about ourselves first. Put that as the priority.
This is what you all had planned. You said, I'm going to go into an environment of contrast, and here you are. And you said, and I'm going to know what I don't want, which is going to help me know what I do want, and vice versa. And that two ends of that stick are going to help me focus into what I'm wanting. Now, that makes sense, doesn't it? But here's the thing, the way your world today is affecting so many of you, that kind of got rolling in a strong way. It ultimately is to your advantage, but we just want to give this to you. If life comes to you and you say, I really don't care for that, I'd rather have that, and you have the luxury of time and focus to calibrate to what you prefer, it wouldn't take very much before things like that would be right there. But if a whole lot of things simultaneously that you don't want are showing up, if you're in defense mode all the time, then you're not taking the pivot when it is easy. And then you get feeling overwhelmed. And then you just become sort of complacent and observant. And it isn't until it gets so much that you just can't take it and you really give up that you actually turn the tide in any way. Esther turned on something the other day. She wanted to watch it, and she knew it was dicey because she knew it was a news program. And she knows what the commercials are like on those news programs. And so she said to herself, I'm going to just mute every commercial, but boy, you got to be fast. And then she thought, or better still, maybe I could just, as they present that thing that I know I don't want, I could just think about what I do want. She couldn't even begin to keep up with it. The barrage of what you don't want is coming at you so fast that you cannot pivot. So what we're suggesting to all of you is that you decide to get out ahead of it, which is what you've decided to do. We can hear it in how you're setting this up. Decide to get out ahead of it by deciding that you want to feel good. I'm going to do this and I want to feel good. And then at the first awareness that it doesn't feel good, bail out. And just do that for a little while. Think I'll call my sister and I want to feel good. At the first awareness that it doesn't feel good, bail out. I think I'm going to watch this movie. At the first awareness that it doesn't feel good, bail out. In other words, decide that you're going to give yourself just a day or two or three. It won't take much for you to reset your point of attraction. We're not kidding you. Here it is. You get what you think about. So our question to you is, where are you getting what you're thinking about? Where are you getting it? Where are you going for it? Are you going looking for good news? Are you going looking for bad news? Where are you going for it? When you decide that you're going to take a walk, do you think, where could I go? Where's the stinkiest, dirtiest street in this town? Where is the place that really makes me want to throw up the most? I'm going to go and I'm going to endure that walk. And I'm going, you don't do that usually. In other words, there are a lot of things that, let's go out and eat. Where should we go? Well, where's the worst food that you've had this year? Where is it? Let's go there and see if it's gotten any better. That's completely illogical, isn't it? So your self-interests are still alive and well. We just think that you don't realize how much you're taking on that is affecting your bag of marbles until your bag of marbles reflect back to you what you've taken on. And then you don't associate it with what you've been thinking. And that's what makes you think somebody else is doing it to you. You didn't deliberately put the marbles in your bag. And so when the active marbles attracted something back to you, you don't own it, even though you own it. Where when you deliberately start putting marbles in your bag and you start getting things back that reflect those marbles, now you're off and running. Does that make sense to you?